Hello everyone and welcome to another 3D Buzz training video. Zach will be continuing with the AT-AT-like vehicle for UT3 in this video.
Yes.
So, where are we going to pick up at?
Well, there's a couple of things. First off, I'm going to move this little slot that we carved in here. I got a love letter from one of our esteemed users who told me that this is actually like a slot to help this little piece of armor move properly, and I was like, okay, because it's real easy to move. I can just do that, and that's done. So,
okay, cool.
Next thing was I wanted to work on the Transdrive. I think that's what we've been calling it repeatedly over these videos, and that's this funny flashlight-shaped thing that's up in between the legs that kind of keeps the legs moving. The legs are actually attached to this thing. Let's see if I can find. We'll dig through and just take a look at a few pictures. But this model doesn't show us too much, but you can see that it's there. It's there all the time. But you will find as you dig through at least the reference imagery that we have that we don't have a ton of information as to what this looks like.
Right.
So some of it we're just going to be making up. Because really, as long as you have something there that's broken up into two parts...
Back up two?
Back up two.
Okay.
This is a funny model, though.
Understand.
And he's missing that plate altogether.
Understand.
So, because I know what you were about to say.
Well,
I
back
almost
up one?
said it too. What, back up one?
One more?
One more.
Yeah, he's missing.
He's missing all those plates.
Yeah.
Because I thought about that, too.
I'm just checking.
Yeah. Oh, I checked everything. I was like, but I'm just going to throw you a... Never mind. And I just went on back to work. So, okay, here's the actual studio model. And this is a pretty good shot. But, we're looking kind of down the thing. So
it's two separate pieces, kind of T-shaped. Cylinder,
Yeah.
T-shaped. Okay, and the T's that come out attached to those plates you made.
Yeah, and the funny thing here is, we get almost the only piece on the whole thing that's kind of organically shaped. Because we got this kind of nice flowy T curve that's all rounded here and rounded there. And that's where I'm going to start. And we'll work forward and we'll work back from there. So let's begin. I'm going to create a cylinder. And let's see, what are my views? Here's the front view. Front view is good. Or maybe I want a real front view, which is actually the back view. Don't ask. So let's go ahead and just create a little cylinder. And the size is, I'm not actually going to use the size of my image plane actually at all for a couple of reasons. One, if we go to the outer edge of the drawing, you'll notice we have almost no room in between there and our plate. And if we take a look at pictures, there's a little bit of room there.
Yeah, there is.
So I'll be kind of fudging that around a little bit, but the other thing, and let me go ahead and get out of here, and we'll pull back on the radius from here, is that I'm going to start working at the back and work my way forward. And this little piece, if we come back here, you can just kind of tell is going to have to be a little smaller. The whole thing kind of tapers down as it works its way to this little T-junction. So that's where we will begin. Let's jump back over here to perspective. Now, this is something that we need to be rounded and smooth and very organic. And whenever you're modeling something like that, try to keep things as simple as you possibly can. So let's hit F4 so we can see edges. I'm going to right-click and kill out our height segments. Let's take our sides. I'm going to set this to, not 18. I just want to set it to 8. Oh, your number lock is off. I love that. Okay, now let's convert this over to an editable poly. And I'll just grab, I want something. It doesn't really matter which one I get. Let's get vertices. And I'm going to rotate this so that I get a flat top on the top and a flat side.
Okay.
And on an 8-sided object, that means rotating it down its central axis, in this case Y. Let's go ahead and get the rotate tool out. By 22.5 degrees, which is 360 divided by 2 divided by 8. And that's how you end up with that. So that's not like a magic number. You can actually do math and figure that out. I know, scary. So let's pull these guys back just a little bit. We're going to end up turbo smoothing this, obviously. So here's what we're going to do for starters. I'm going to create a bend in this that just goes off to the right. Now, to do this, I'm going to get a little fancy. Of course, you could extrude along a spline. I just don't want to have to build a spline. Maybe I'm lazy. I don't know. I'm going to grab this guy. Notice I deleted a polygon here. We'll shift drag this out. And then I'm going to shift drag it out again. We'll hit 4 to go to polygons. I'm going to delete out this little bridging polygon. Let's go to edges, and I'll pull this guy in real nice and tight. Just maybe some right in there. I'm a little picky. Now, let's hit 3 to grab borders, and we'll cap this back. All I wanted to do was create a little floating polygon there. Let's hit 4, grab this face. Let's come down to hinge from edge. Pick the hinge, and that'll be you, sir. Angle is going to be 90 degrees. And jump over here so we can see that. And we don't need very many segments. In fact, I think a total of 3 will work out just fine. So there we go. We're rotating off to the side. We can now hit 4, grab this polygon and remove it. We don't need it anymore. Let's do a couple other things too. Let's grab this polygon. I'm just going to shorten this whole thing up just a little more than it was. I'm going to extrude. So where's my extrude? There it is. So a little bit of extrude, and this is just to kind of stabilize our smoothing so it doesn't get overly smooth right there. And let's extrude out here just a little bit as well. We got other operations we'll be performing on that in due time. But let's start off by taking a look at what this will look like when turbo smoothed. Bink. And I like looking at just ISO lines. It's, of course, nicer. And let's go ahead and kick up the number of iterations, and I'll hit F4. So there we go. It's twisting off to the side, but of course we need this to T. It needs to go in both directions. So let's go down to the editable poly level, and in between the editable poly and the turbo smooth, we'll drop on a symmetry. There we go. Now that already gives us a shape very similar to what it is we're looking for. But I have a personal problem with it, in that we get this kind of flattening right up here on top. And that's not like a major thing. You could probably just completely overlook it if you wanted to. I don't think it would be the end of the world. But if you wanted to kill it, it's not that hard. What I would do is go right after the symmetry, and let's drop on an edit poly modifier. And we'll come over to edges. Let me press F4 so that we can see edges again. And let's turn off the turbo smooth temporarily. I'm going to get this edge. Let's just go ahead and loop it, make my life a little easier, and then we'll deselect what we don't want. We don't really need to delete those because we can leave those as 2 5-sided faces. We don't need to delete that. You could if you really wanted to clean out the crease right there, but we won't. And we'll leave that guy. So once we have all these selected, let's scroll down here. I'm going to hold down Control and click Remove. Now double check and make sure that got rid of your vertices. And it did. So now let's take a look with the turbo smooth back on. And of course,
your rounding back.
Yeah, get there. And so now everything is all nice and rounded out,
nice.
And it tees off in both directions. So that's awesome, because now we can just model on one side, and everything will just kind of come along for the ride. Okay, so we don't have a ton of information here, but we can see that this is going to extrude out. There's going to be like a cylinder that fits into plate. Slot A goes into slot B, and so on. So what I'm going to do is make some room first off. So let me jump all the way. Let's do all this at the edit poly level. If we go down underneath that, of course, if we go back down to the editable poly, we'll get this warning, and we really don't want to change our topology at this level because we can cause problems. So let's just click no, and we can do anything we want here at edit poly, and that should, well, except for the symmetry, huh? All right, well, hang on. Let's just go ahead and throw this away. We'll do him in a minute. We'll redo that one. So we'll toss that. At least you see which direction we're going. So now let's go down to the editable poly, and let's go to polygons. That's what I get from making all this stuff up as I go. And let's inset this. Ooh, maybe just a little more. No extrude. How you doing this evening, Buzz?
Not bad, actually.
You doing okay?
Yeah, for Sunday, it's been a pretty good day. Pretty productive.
What does that mean for a Sunday? Are your Sundays generally not so good?
Well, it's been a fairly productive day. Logan and I have been working on a bunch of XNA stuff.
Yeah.
Making good progress. So, since it's a Sunday, generally it's just a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
And today's not been a very relaxed day.
Well, I'm here. We're getting some edit videos done.
Yeah, that's great.
So, hang on. Let's see how this looks. That's okay, wait a minute. Hang on. Is that like creased right there and nowhere else?
Yeah, you didn't see what happened?
It didn't select the loop in there.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'll just hit undo, and then we'll go back in there and fix that. No, I didn't notice at all. So let's hit 4, and then hold down Control, and click on Edges. So we'll start with that. I'll press F4 so we can verify. Now we'll click U, and then Loop, and that should give everybody I want. So yay. Now we'll chamfer, and that's fine. So now if we take a look at our end result, that's what we should have, and that's much nicer. And we get that on both sides, so that's excellent. I wouldn't mind tightening this up a little bit. Of course, we could just cram this into the next shape, so it doesn't matter that much, but maybe just because I'm pickier than I need to be. Let's grab this edge and...
While we're here actually working on a vehicle for UT3. I've got to say, I'm very excited about how well the new contest is going.
Are you shameless plugging again?
No, not at all. I'm just saying, I really am excited. It's going very well.
Yeah, it is.
We've got about 120 entries now. So it's really cool to see so many people that are still interested in learning the technology. Not that I have a problem with us focusing on just working with studios, but I think it's great working with individuals out there that are hobbyists or that are interested in getting into this field in the future.
Soon to be studio artists.
That's right. And I personally love working with them. So it's awesome to see so many people out there still interested in learning the technology.
Okay, I think I'm ready to re-input that edit poly. I think we've gone as far as I need to there. Okay, so let's go to edges, and I'm going to turn off that turbo smooth. And press F4, because I can't tell what's going on unless I do that. All sorts of stuff that I don't want to select here. Let's just start simple. Loop.
So while you are deselecting things at the moment, I'll say that we've got some new stuff coming at 3D Buzz that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy.
Don't tell them about that.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to say I don't think they're going to be seeing it for probably 2 weeks. But I think it's going to be some cool stuff.
2 weeks?
At least I'm looking forward to it.
But what happens to those people who watch this in 2 weeks? What happens to them?
Well, then they just say, duh.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's check out vertices. I don't think I have any floaters left. Oh, I missed one. Okay, goodbye. Double check for float. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I held down control, but I guess it just didn't want to register on that one edge. And one up here, too. Backspace. All right, now everybody should be happy. Let's turn on Turbo Smooth. Hit the mighty... Oh, make sure we're up at here. Hit the mighty button. And I think we're set. Okay. So now that we have all of that, and we are golden and stuff and ready to rock, you could, if you really wanted to, continue this shape by extruding out of here. I don't want to do that. Just because I think it's going to lead to a much higher poly count and whatnot than I really need. And then smoothing comes with its own rules and problems and considerations. So I'm just going to create an all-new cylinder right here. That's the perfect cylinder, too, for our high-res model. What do you say?
That'll work. No nickeling there.
Nope, none whatsoever. Okay, so let's kind of fix that insane amount of nickeling. I don't know what draws me to big round numbers like 32 and whatnot, but we'll go with it anyway. That would just about work, but it's right at the fringe. Let's kick that up to 42. Let's see what I get. That could probably work. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. All right, now just looking around at things, at pictures and references and stuff like that, when looking from the side, you don't really see this thing sticking out in the front. And you see it sticking out in the back. There it is back there. And this is also verified over in our image plane set. If we take a look at the left image plane, I was wondering where we were there for a minute.
I noticed. You were actually confusing me as the mouse continued to go round and round the screen.
Yeah, I didn't know where I was going there for a minute, but don't tell anybody. So we're going to leave this kind of back behind our great big plate here. Also, as I mentioned a second ago, what we don't want to have happen is to make it so big that we don't have any room to put like some little extrudy blocks or some sort of greebling or whatnot that goes here on the side. So we're going to be pulling things in a little bit closer than what is suggested over in the image plane. Let's right-click on X to center that up. In fact, if we just really wanted to, we could probably go ahead and align it just to be on the safe side. Align it to this guy, and we don't, was it Z position? No, I'm thinking Maya, so we don't need Y. Let's click OK. That lovely jumping back and forth between two different
applications,
Z up worlds, and with Z up and Y up, that's always fun. Okay, so let me increase the height here, and then I think that puts us in a good position to go ahead and start modeling from here. Now what I'm going to do is just create the very basic outline of the shape, and we'll worry about the details and the little ridges and whatnot that are inserted in a moment. So let's go ahead and get this guy converted over to an editable poly, and press 4. Now, what I'm seeing generally, and it's, again, you have very limited information, is we have a very thick band, And that's going to kind of, if it's speaking in modeling terms, if you're actually kind of modeling this in your head, you'd inset and then extrude out to another level of detail, and then inset and go out to another level of detail that might have just a little bit of tapering on it, maybe not, it's kind of hard to tell, and that's going to plug into our little T thing.
Gotcha.
So I'm detecting kind of like 3 tiers of detail as we go from here down to there.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to go by anyway. So let's do an inset, and I don't know, I have this affinity for using the spinners. So click OK, and extrude, and give that a little bit of room. Do something about like so, and click OK. And then let's go ahead and inset again. Maybe not so much. I'm probably going to have to make some edits here, but we'll deal with that in a minute. And then let's click OK, and then we'll extrude again. Ta-da, sorta. Okay, so really basic so far. The first thing I'm going to do, and this is just a mental thing on my end, not everybody's going to be this way, but the normaling there, the smoothing group stuff, gets on my nerve when I'm trying to do something like this. So let me go ahead and auto-smooth this whole thing and just make it look round again. Mm-hmm. Okay, now back over to here. So we've got some funny little extrusions. Anything, like you see like this guy here and this guy here, I wouldn't extrude those out of the shape. There's no reason you couldn't, but just to keep things easy on myself, I would just put those in as separate objects.
Okay.
Like I would just like put a little block in there. I can't tell if we have little rings around there or not. I really don't know. I'm really 2 shades shy of just making the whole thing up and not worrying about anything.
I'd just make the whole thing up and not worry about it.
Yeah, you know.
I thought that thing moved over a second ago.
Yeah, okay, so it wasn't... That's weird. And this thing is not centered either. Oh. Hang on, where's your pivot? And why are you off to the side? What's going on here? Is his pivot moved somehow? We must have moved it at the sub-object level.
So it looks like.
Yep.
I think right there.
There we go. I must have, when I had the element selected.
I thought you bumped it.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. Alright, well let's come down here and just do that again. Auto smooth. Okay, so here, let's just make some stuff up. Now, some of the stuff is fairly obvious, so let's begin with the obvious things. Like what's going on up here? Because there's all sorts of reference pictures that kind of show that big, rounded, sort of spherical thing that sticks out of the front there. You could see it there if it was lit just a little better. Let's dig through our pictures, though. Digging, digging, digging. Oh, that's kind of a good one. Mm-hmm. So, okay, funny little capsuloid thing. We extrude back in. So let's just have fun with that first, because that's easy. Small victories and stuff. So we'll do an inset, and it looks like it's kind of a thin wall. Mm-hmm. So we'll go to about there. Now I'm going to extrude this in. Did you see what I just tried to do?
Tried to treat it like a spinner.
Okay, I was hoping you didn't see what I was trying to do, but apparently you did, so that's okay. Let's click OK there, and I won't worry about the smoothing groups yet, but they are already getting on my nerves. Okay, now the next thing. Let's jump I think I have some more detailed pictures. Actually, the picture of the studio model is probably not half bad for this, but I just wanted to dig through anyways. Kind of refresh my brain. This one's not bad. So, I mean, almost kind of spherical and sort of not. Get something close. And again, we're kind of making some of this up too. I don't think this is like a super critical piece. I think as soon as, even your Star Wars buffs see the T piece there on the bottom and the cylindrical thing up between the 4 legs, that I think this is going to work out great. Ooh, that's not bad.
Oh, that's actually a really good shot.
That's actually really good. So, okay, I see a sphere there. And I don't want to make a sphere by hand because I'm no good at that sort of thing. So let's make a sphere. And we'll go into the so-called front view to do it, but not really. It's so-called back view, but it's really a front view. That's our little secret, though. We'll pull this out so it's about as big in radius as our cylinder, which we can't see very well. And let's pull this whole thing forward. I'm going to stick it out to here for just a moment. In the side view, let's hit F3. Is that enough detail for us to not have to worry about anything as far as nickeling is concerned? That's 32 segments. I think you get up to 42. I know that's going to increase everything. It would be nice if we could increase the detail in both separate dimensions like you can in other 3D apps I could mention. But, you think I'm being too picky? All right, let's just try this. It's all going to end up becoming part of a normal map anyway. Excuse me. So now let's convert this over to an editable poly, and hit 4, and... Now we can cut this in half, but I would almost go one extra step, because I don't think we really need these ones that are almost horizontal. So we'll go ahead and nuke all these out. Now let's get out of sub-object mode. Now let's align this. Click, click. That should be good. And we'll slide this back in here.
I wonder how many schools we have out there that teach Unreal technology that use our videos.
I'd be cool if they'd tell us. I mean, you're not in trouble or anything. I'd just like to know.
Well, actually, if there happens to be anybody watching these videos that
Is in a class somewhere?
is in a class or teaches it, and you're interested in getting in on something special I'd like to design for schools, give me a PM, BuzzBJ, on 3dbuzz.com. Be very interested in talking to you. Again, student or instructor, preferably instructors.
But we're flexible.
Well, if it's a student that can get the instructor to, sit up and listen.
I'm trying to maybe one more row.
Got some interesting things I'd like for us to do for schools. And this might help get some attention, and I'm talking about do for schools for free. Ah, there you go.
There you go. That should get at least some school person's attention. You'd think. Okay, so a little bit of extrusion there, and we can come over and we can kind of see that. So it's like the whole thing leaps out. Now there's another ridge down here, and I was thinking about how I wanted to make that. So, let me see here. Hang on just a second. Let me cancel that. Let me go over to edges. Jump back and forth for just a minute because I lost where I was. I want you, and I want to ring that, and I want to connect it once. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, now we go over to polygons, and let's grow that just once. Bink. And now let's extrude. But we're not going to extrude very far. Very, very small extrusion. Okay. And let's hit...
Shrink it.
I guess we could, but no, there's actually something I want to do. I want to, because I realized that ridge is a little bit thick. So I'm going to loop all this, and then let's come down here and let's go to edge constraints. There's probably a bunch of different ones we could use, but we'll do edge anyway. And let's just uniformly scale that out. So that'll be nice and thin. I think that's thin enough. Oop, careful. Right about there will do. Okay, now let's go over to polygons again, and this time we'll shrink one, and we can extrude a second time, and this one can go out with a little bit of oomph. Now, does that actually come out past the ridge? Does it look like that it does? It does to me, no.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
It doesn't look like, and it looks like I've pulled it out a little far. At least from that perspective. Of course, we're looking kind of straight down the thing, so it's hard to say, but maybe only right to about here.
Okay.
It's one of those details where I don't think it's going to break the model if it's a little off.
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be fine.
The other thing too, I was just wondering about maybe grabbing the whole element. Oh, you still have edge constraints on, which was cool. That did like a weird melty bevel-y sort of effect. I need to remember that one. Just kind of flatten it out a little because I don't think it's a perfect sphere in there. There's just a little bit of flattening. Notice I'm scaling at the sub-object level just in case I do anything weird like parent this or parent something to it. Okay, and then that's tucking away inside very nicely now. Hit F4 and have a quick look. Nothing really scaring me about the normals or anything. Let's go ahead and bring up the material editor and let's say you and you and you and did I miss somebody? Oh, it doesn't want to select them. Okay, there we go. Yay.
I don't know. Can you still
What's on your mind?
quickly gain access to those polys inside? Maybe pull that out just a little bit more.
Should. You mean in... Here, let me get out of... here.
Yeah.
You want... Well, not those polys, but that's okay. We can do some of this action. Actually, that was enough right there. Let's see if I can just take those out, and then we can grow that a couple times.
And pull that out just a little bit.
Just,
I think it's just, yeah, it's a little better. Cool.
Something kind of like that. And then while we're here, we can hit auto smooth. Maybe a little bit of beveling for old time's sake. That one and this one. And of course, loop those. Chamfer. Click OK. All right. Now, there is some detailing on that piece. So, you know, funny little circle thing with a circular extrusion and some funny sticks in there. I'm not going to worry about that right now.
Okay.
We'll do some like detailing sort of things here in just a moment. Let's move our way outward. I'll handle all the detailing at once. But yeah, to jump back a topic, I'm really excited to see all of the entries that we've got over in the old school contest. Old school level design contest.
That's right.
Like the full name for it.
Some really good work coming out of there, too. I've seen some very impressive maps.
And if you're watching these videos, I would like to think that, you know, you're either interested in or are involved in Unreal technology in some way. And if you're not, you probably should be.
Well, if you're interested in getting into the gaming industry, for sure. Not because of Epic, but because
it's cool.
The over 100 licenses for Unreal Engine 3 technology that's out there.
Yeah, it's like if getting involved with Unreal doesn't necessarily mean that you're just trying to get a job with Epic Games.
Yeah, no.
Because there's a lot of companies out there that license their technology. All right. Now I am just putting in some ridges here.
Yeah, having some fun.
Almost generically. So let's chamfer this guy. Let's chamfer this way. I like it better. And that'll be one. Now let's grab you again. And ring. And let's see. Let's do a connect. And this time we'll do... That's too many. Maybe just two. I don't know. Like I said, I'm very much just kind of making this up as I go. Alright. Let's chamfer these guys and make them just a little smaller. I wouldn't mind making that guy up front just a little bigger. So let's grab you and loop. We'll slide that back a little bit. I always love that about it's a 3ds Max thing. That first move you make is a big jump, and then you've got to kind of slide back into place. And those of you who've been using Max for a while know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, click. I want you. No, I want. Come on, you. Here, I got to do a smooth zoom. So I need that guy, and I need. Come here. No, there you go. And then I need that one. Okay, excellent. Now we need to ring all of those, and hold down Control, and click on that. Now let's extrude. That's fantastic. We should leave it just like that. Wow, it's cool how it's going off in 3 different directions, too. All right, let's go by local normal. And just pull those in a little bit. We don't need them to go very far. Click OK. Hit F4. Okay. So that's starting. I almost feel like this section should be longer.
I agree. Quite a bit longer.
So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to grab you, I'm going to ring you, hold down Control and turn that to faces, and we'll just slide all... Oh, come on. There we go. Slide all these faces back. And I could redistribute these little ridges, or I could put one more in. They were nice when they were all evenly spaced in there.
One of the pictures, there's a big band that ran around the front of the whole thing.
Oh, you mean like take this up here and kind of thicken it up?
Yeah, just a big band.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, let's see here. If I was going to do that... Let me play for a second.
Sure,
let's
do your thing.
Let me do this. And let's hit Z. I want you. I want you. And I want you. And I want you all to be looped. And then I'm going to push y'all forward just a little bit. Y'all. I said y'all on video.
You sure did say y'all.
I did. And you just got to deal with that. And it's funny, too, because that was like a real one where I was just trying to say you all very quickly, and it just, there you go. All right. Slide that back. I'll reposition this guy in a moment. Now, let's get this guy and this guy, and let's ring them. And really, that would be enough on anybody's budget. Ooh. But, yeah, it comes with responsibility. Let's grab this guy, too.
Did you want to bring out that?
Maybe not these guys. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm thinking just maybe the thick band behind it.
Get you, and then right. Well, we can do that. Okay, so let's scale, and of course we got to put our little scale tool here in the middle of everything, and pull this out just a little bit. So was that something like you were talking about?
Something like
Thicken
that.
Whole thing up.
Thicken that up, and then just a handful of.
Do some chamfers here just to clean that up a little bit. Tink, and loop, and chamfer, and maybe just a little more, just for the fun of it. Okay, now, yeah, it's really a question of, would you want one more ridge here?
I'd do two more.
Two more, maybe leave this guy right
and
where he is.
I'd also push it back a little bit, just a little bit more.
See, I think it'll, oh, get out of that. I like that paint selection tool, but
And I'm not saying him.
Oh, no?
I would push the back further.
This thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I can do that.
Don't worry about a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Yeah, I'm happy.
Well, that's what's important. Now, let's see here. I would kind of like all these to be evenly spaced.
Mm-hmm.
So
I put in at least two, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm going to do. Oh, man. Here we go.
Wait.
Hang on. Ooh, but I don't want you to do that, because you see it dented in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want that.
Oh, yeah,
it should be. All right, cancel that out. More.
I just eyeball it. Throw in two more, space them out.
Yeah, I suppose. I was just going to be all precise and stuff, which you could do. Well, if you're going to put in two more, then that's breaking it into what? Total of fours? So we could call that roughly about a fourth. So then 1, 2, because there'd be 4 fat segments.
Sure.
All right, so let's go back here to edges and get you and ring and come down to connect. And that was pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty darn close.
Close enough. All right, and where's my chamfer? It's somewhere around here. And I think I made that a little bigger than it was a second ago. So we'll just eyeball it again, get it close, click OK. Get you and your friend over here. Nope, wrong friend. Wrong friend again. There we go. You got to zoom real close. Okay, so ring, control, jump over to polygons, and extrude, local normal. That all should be good. Ta-da. I'm not even going to worry about beveling those or chamfering those little edges in there. I don't see a point. All right, let's hit F4 real quick. We won't be able to see much unless we go to an angle, which is okay. All right, now next, transition. And this is where we can start having a little bit of fun. I'm going to actually jump around a little bit. Let's come over here to this guy. And here's our edit poly. Any extra modeling we want to do that would add or remove edges we'd want to do here, but I'm not trying to add or remove edges. So I'm going to come in here to vertices. And yeah, hold and yes, that's absolutely fantastic. Let's get these vertices and scale them up. Ooh, wow, did you see that thing explode? That's not what I want. It doesn't like that. Or maybe it's just not updating properly. No, it really doesn't like that. What's the biz there? All right, hang on. Maybe I should just be scaling in this direction. I didn't like that either. That's kind of weird, because it's not doing that anywhere else. And you'll notice it's not consistent either. Okay, we must be changing something we shouldn't be changing. That's probably Max's way of saying, hey, don't do this. Yeah, and that comes in here, vertex, and then turbo smooth. Yeah, wait a minute. Turn that off. I just want these vertices. There you go. All right. Hopefully this doesn't break anything. No, it doesn't. And I don't want too much. I just wanted to kind of widen it up a little bit. That's all I wanted to do. All right. Get out of there. All right. That seems to be functioning. That's all I was worried about. All right, now that we've got this pulled back, I think we stepped in a little too far, but it's almost hard to say because we got so small over here. It's almost like you'd want to take the whole thing, kind of scale it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not convinced if I really need to do that just yet. I'm thinking it's always frightening when I got to stop and do that.
Well, while you're thinking, I'll just remind those that are watching this video that pretty much everything they see is you doing on-the-fly modeling. So, yeah.
Let's see here. Well, I'm going to thicken this guy back up a little bit. So let me go to ring, and I'm just going to push this guy out a little. We could loop this. I had thought about turning this into more of a taper effect by running it through there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll actually look a little nicer
Okay.
than what we've got. At least a little more techy, so it's not like, ooh, stair step down, you know. Okay, let's jump back over here. I'm going to loop this because I'm at least halfway making this piece up. Because you don't, like we've kind of shown earlier, you don't have like a ton of reference for this. All right. But I dig this. So I'd like some ridges that actually come out instead of in.
Oh.
So let's see. Let's ring and connect. How many ridges did you want in total? Let's do 3, but I don't want them evenly spaced. I'll move them around here in just a minute. So we'll start with this guy. Just you. And loop. Slide up a little bit and chamfer and get wider. And then we'll jump over to, oh, there we go. Click OK first before you get all overzealous and start working before your operation's done. And ring and control click there and extrude. I don't want to go in, I actually want to go out on this one. Something kind of like so. Click OK. Next friend. So you. Dink. Loop. Slide. Get him kind of close. We're going to chamfer him too, but not as wide. So he'll be kind of thin. Maybe something like that. And we got to zoom in, I know, because I'm sure selecting that will be kind of funny. And ring. Control click. Extrude. And you got really quiet over there. You must be completely captivated by this.
Just watching.
And I almost wouldn't mind something very similar for the next piece. That was awesome. Did you like that? Loop. I don't know. Not quite evenly spaced. These two will be closer. I've decided for some reason. We'll chamfer that. Click OK. 2. And then ring. And where did I leave off? Oh, yeah.
Control click it.
Yeah, I was like, well, what? I don't remember anything.
Extrude it.
Totally lost track of the world. All right, so there we go. So let's do a couple of quick chamfers on these to make them look a little prettier. We'll do these separately. So let's loop, chamfer, that'll probably work. And then you two. And then loop. Chamfer. You see, that's a little heavy for those guys, though. So we'll pull these down, click OK, hit F4, kind of back up and take a look at our handiwork. And there's something about that that actually makes me feel like I should go back and chamfer the edges of these guys.
Okay.
And maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe in the texture it won't make any difference. Maybe just leave them sharp for now. You see what I'm saying, though? Because like you don't get any highlight over here. But it probably won't matter come texture time and whatnot. Okay, so I'll talk myself out of that. What do you say? We could trying to keep things kind of lively and interesting. You know, not too much. I don't want people to get too excited and think that modeling is actually fun.
Excuse me.
Oh, it's all good, man. Okay. It probably won't let me loop this. No, of course not. That'd be too useful. All right. And we could probably get away with just a little more tapering here to get us more cleanly to that piece. In fact, I'm sure we could go ahead and use this guy and start creating some sort of a join there. Now, I don't know if it's even going to let me do this, but I thought I'd try. No, okay, I'm thinking of another application. It's not Maya this time. Let's grab you and ring and connect, and just want one, and slide over here, click OK, you, ring, control click, extrude. Actually, that doesn't look bad. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more things. More kind of on-the-fly command decisions. Because those are my favorite kind. Stretch this back a little bit. Stretch this back a little bit. It almost straightens that out, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You could probably almost remove that, but I'm a little afraid to. I'll just hold on to it for now. And let's see here. We're going to end up, according to our picture, there's some that we need like room for some little, whatever that is, access hatchway for repairs and stuff. So let's go ahead and make something in here that we could fit that in on. I'm going to fit that in between two of these kind of ridges. So let me grab you and ring and connect once. Actually, that's not bad. Chamfer that with a little more chamfer. Click OK. Ring. Control click over here on polygons. Man, things got really quiet. Did you pick up on that?
I'm just...
It's me too, because I'm sitting here talking to myself and modeling.
Just following along.
Are you modeling too?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay, and then later on, once we get to the detailing phase where I'm adding little bits and pieces, we can stick something in there.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's see here. Let me just back away from everything, because I'll end up staring at it for too long, and I'll never leave it alone. We could probably, aside from maybe, I don't know, this area feels like it needs some attention.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put like maybe a couple of indentions in here, but overall I think we're getting to an area where we could just step back and start putting in some detail stuff.
Okay.
So let me hit F4. Again, I'm just kind of sort of making stuff up, so let's connect that twice with no slide. A little bit of overextended pinch. Click OK. Chamfer, we'll boost that. Click OK again. You and you. Ring. Control clicks polygons. Extrude, and this time we'll go inward. And there's going to be a kind of an angle because the face is, but I don't think that matters much. And these, just for the fun of it, just because we're here and I was thinking about it, I will go ahead and chamfer out. It'll give them a different kind of look. Loop, chamfer, and pull that back. F4. Oh yeah, that's much cooler. I'm keep looking at this band that we made, and I just keep, like, in my head, I keep wanting to make it bigger and bigger. Like, keep sliding it back.
Nah,
I know. I gotta stop. Okay, let's do a little bit of detailing work. How much time do we have left? Because I've lost track now.
It's really up to you. I'm letting it run a little bit later. So
are we already kind of to our...
Yeah, we're to our limit, but, you know, if you feel like running a little longer...
Yeah, I'll run just a little bit longer. This funny piece up here, it's kind of... what's a good word for it? It looks kind of
just go in and build the whole thing as a complex spline and.
Well, I was looking at that, but I had another idea for it. Here we've got like starburst, like ridges thingies, that are sticking out, and then 3 straight up and down ones. It's all cross hatched, and I always, even in the real world when I'm looking at stuff, I always try to see how does that relate to geometry. And I'm thinking we could take a cylinder and then triangulate it, like more like the way cylinders are created in Maya, where instead of having one big cap piece, you have some triangular pieces that all meet like pi center. Then extrude the thing, like take half of it, extrude it out, put a division in there, and then just keep that end of it. Delete everything else. Just keep that end of it that's elongated like that. And what is it, the lattice modifier? And I think that might create that piece.
Okay.
I don't know, but I want to know for sure. So let me test that theory. Let's create a cylinder. And I love that front-back view discrepancy thing. It just makes my day. Let's see. Let's create a cylinder like so. And I don't really care how tall it is. It's going to lose its height eventually anyway. This may not do exactly what I want it to, but that's okay if it doesn't. I'll live. This is just one of those experiments. Now, coming over here to this thing, sides. Sides is going to be important because if we come over here, we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay, then that's counting all the way around. So 1, 2, 3. So a total of... Why did my brain shut off? That'd be like an 8-sided cylinder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it'd be a 12-sided cylinder. You're high. By. Okay, so let's kick that over to 12. I think that's right. So let's see. Let's hit F4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. Now, let's do some stuff. Let's convert this over to an editable poly. Let's grab... Come back here, you. I don't know what it just selected, yeah, but it's not what I want. There we go. I want just this face for a minute. And we need to... What's the deal? We need to tessellate it. There's a button for that somewhere around here.
Oh, right there?
Is it right there in front of me? Yeah. But we want to do it, yeah. We want to do it not to edges, because that runs them out to the edge. We want to do it on face level, and then we get that really nice layout. So do that, and let's hit Control-I to invert my selection, and we'll hit Delete. So we just have this funny cap O faces. Let's get just these guys for a minute. And, oh, I really wish you could Shift-Drag to extrude. That'd be so nice. Let's extrude these. And that's not at all what I wanted to do. But it's kind of a start, really. By group, by local normal. That's fine. It'll get us started. In fact, no. Try to keep it easy on myself. Let's put that back. I'm trying to think of the way that I would like to... I keep going back and forth in my head to Maya for some reason. Don't you hate it when that happens? Split. Now, if we come over to elements, I should have a separate element. Good. Excellent. Now we can just bridge those guys. And that should be much easier than what I was trying to do a second ago. Bridge. We get you and you. Hey, nice. Now, we just need to make sure that that width is about what we have here on our picture. It's probably
pretty darn close.
Probably close enough for government work. So now we just come over here and grab these 3 edges, and we connect them to get somebody in the middle. All right, looking good so far. Now, let's try that mighty lattice modifier. That's awesome. That's the perfect piece. That's exactly what I had in mind.
Our radius way down.
Yeah, we only want struts from edges. We don't want anything else. We need to bring that radius way down, as was already mentioned by somebody else. Ooh.
Probably get away with just about that right there.
You probably could. I mean, and then just for the fun of it, since we're going to be, making a normal map out of it anyway, you could increase this a little bit. Huh. Material ID. Can we smooth it, please? And hit F4 so we can see what it looks like. Huh. It's not perfect, but I mean, that's probably about what it would do, if you really joined those. Hang on, let me look again. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of turning into a mess right there.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would do differently would be, of course, we'd want some sort of a piece out here. I wouldn't want to use this as our final outline.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. I would probably want to make a spline shape that did that for us. So let's bring down the radius even more. Let's maybe 0.35. And just so I don't confuse myself too much, go over here, hit M, select you, drop that on. And we could slide this back across there. And then we can actually just adjust the vertices until that lines up. Let's do this, though. Modify, effect pivot only, center to object. There we go. Now we can right-click it on X. In fact, if we wanted to, we could symmetrize the whole thing. So we don't have to do as much work to round it out. Whoa. I wrapped her all the way around. Okay, there we go. Great. Now we can come in here to vertices. Let's show the end result. And then, or not. Symmetry and then lattice. Is something not updating? Okay, gotcha. I'm sure I'm just missing something vital here. Let's turn that off. Okay, it's working to a certain point. That's fine. I'll get to the details of the rest of it in here in just a second. I think I see what it is. I think I'm just symmetrizing excuse me, individual vertices. So I don't need to do that just yet. Maybe pull this guy back out just a little bit. And yeah, I could have moved the top and bottom at the same time, but what fun is that, really? Okay, so now that we have that, let's jump back up to here, turn symmetry back on. No? What do you want to bet it's symmetrizing the wrong way? So yeah, I was working on the wrong side. Whoops. You can probably just leave it that way. I want to try something else, though. While we're on a roll, we're just coming up with funny things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me grab this guy. Can I loop it? And the answer is yes. Let me turn off end result. Good. That's everybody I want. Edit edges. Create shape from selection. Smooth would be good if you can do that. Click OK. Now that... Okay, that's fine. It's a little weird, but that's okay. Let's get out of here. I want that shape. Editable spline. Can we stick a symmetry modifier on that? Will it work? And the answer is not really, not the way I want it to. Which is, that's okay. I'll fix it. Jump in here. Actually, you know what I should do? I'm thinking, hang on, bear with me just a moment. Let's just delete this guy. He was a good idea for a second, but I got a better one. Let's come in here to right at this point, and let's collapse 2. Hold in yes. There you go. So that's just the new shape of things. Now we can convert this over to a shape from selection and smooth it, and there we are. If we just... make sure we have the shape selected. Okay, looking good so far. Now all we need to do is come in here to this spline and turn on enable in render, enable in viewport, and there we go. We can kick up the thickness of it a little bit if we need it to be a little thicker. Fit that over those funny looking segmented pieces. And there we go. Now I wonder if the whole thing's a little big. Or, like, maybe the whole thing needs to be extruded out a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
I don't know, it looks like there's another cap. Go back to the picture real quick.
Like that extrudes out, and then this is all fit on top of that?
Yeah, it's like there's another cap that's extruded out of the centerpiece.
That wouldn't be hard to do. Let's get both of these guys, and we'll pull them out of the way for now. I think the whole thing could be shrunk down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just group these guys. And we'll call this Transdrive Deco _1. And we'll just scale them down a little bit. Okay, now back over here to this guy. F4, F4, so I can see some vertices. Let me grab that paint selection tool because it's easier. Get that and then grow it about there. Is it one more out, you think? Or do I need to make a new level?
Oh, right there might work. It's not a huge cap. It's just
It seems almost like it's like that's too big, and it seems like that's too small to me.
I don't know. I think the other one might work.
Okay. And I see what you're saying in the cap. Absolutely. There's something about like so. Of course, that sticks out a little bit, which, you know, so ours sticks out. That's okay. I would want to bevel that. And I can't tell what I have selected, so. Alright, let's loop that. And chamfer. It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start. I might get you to play with that piece off camera.
Mm-hmm.
And because when you first had the symmetry on it, and it was basically that piece is twisted a little bit.
Is it?
Right now? Yeah, if you look at it real close. I think on the left-hand side just a little bit. Well, maybe not as bad as I thought it was.
I think it was until I collapsed down to the symmetry.
Okay.
And then it should have been equal on both sides because I didn't mess with these sub-objects at that point.
Okay, well, if we're good, then we'll be good.
I think it's good.
It's our little grill. If it was off, I was just going to have you tweak it off
Fix it
camera.
later.
Yeah, just since we're pushing pretty far here.
All right, let me just go ahead real quick, and we'll do a fast auto smooth on that. And that might be too far. Let's pull that down to about, not even that. Let's go 25. Auto smooth. Okay, there we go.
Cool.
All right, so I think that wraps things up for this episode.
All right, awesome. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we shall be back soon.